Let's talk about the RBA meeting. What do you think we should expect from the central bank, and how could it impact the election? Surely they can't make a move.
Look, it'd be very, very surprising to go and see any rate cuts. So the cash rate likely to go move at 4.1% today. Where the interest will be in the statement and then also in the press conference from Michelle Bullock afterwards, an hour after. Because that's where the RBA, if they are likely to go and signal a rate cut, will be in those particular documents and at that event. So it's not going to be so much about the cash rate, it's going to be about what do they signal. And I think they might go and say something along the lines that if progress and in achieving those inflation goals that they have continues over the next month, they may be in a position to go and ease. I think there'll be something along those lines that we'll see in the statement. Of course, Michelle Bullock has pushed back a lot against market pricing. We have nearly 3 cuts priced into the curve right now. Whether she chooses to push back against that, look, it's probably likely, but I think where it's going to land here is that they're going to set the scene for a potential rate cut coming through in May.
Do you really think so? I mean, obviously, looking at what Michelle Bullock said after the last cut, it was basically, you're getting this one, we didn't really want to give it to you. We wanted to get the pressure off us, otherwise people are going to come out with the knives during this election campaign as well. But also the huge amount of spending that we have seen, particularly from the Prime Minister over the past week, that would be worrying the Reserve Bank about inflation, surely.
On an aggregate demand basis, public spending is clearly still one of the other top of the list concerns that they have out there. But when you look back over time, and it's not because the RBA is looking at history and says we've got to do the same pattern, but when they go and ease interest rates, it's incredibly rare that we'll just get one single move. They're like cockroach theory. When there's one, there's multiple. And even if they do cut and say bring the other cash rate down to 3.85%, it would still be in relatively restricted territory. Not a lot, but it would be enough to go and maybe dampen some of those concerns that we could go and see an increase coming through in unemployment at some point in time. That's going to be the real key litmus test. If we see unemployment start to go and move really higher, the RBA has made it really clear throughout this cycle and even into the prior cycle that it wants to try and protect gains in the labour market, and it will do so by cutting rates. That, to me, comes across as a much more important factor for them right now than it is the inflation rate.
And David, just finally, talk to us about some of the major risks that traders should be watching this weekend. Does the biggest risk live at 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue?
Well, that's obviously a big one. Liberation Day is going to get a lot of the headlines, but I'll come back to what we were talking about earlier when it comes to those concerns about the US economy. And we have non-farm payrolls on Friday, Friday evening our time. And if we get a whiff that some of this weakness, some of this uncertainty is now spilling over into the labour market and sending the unemployment rate higher there, that's where it could get really, really ugly, because it's a lagging indicator. Market concerns are already bound there about what's going on with this tariff uncertainty. If that actually comes to fruition, we could see a big sell-off, more than what we saw last Friday on Wall Street. And that, to me, is going to be that key risk event to watch that we know about. Before that, we also get a lot of other data out, some ISM services and manufacturing PMIs that give us a snapshot of what businesses are seeing. And we also get other labour market data. So keep a close eye on that. It's going to be very, very important this week.
Hold on to your hats, folks. It's going to be a rocky week. David Scott, always appreciate your time. Thank you.
Always great to be here. Take care.